The next movement that I would like to work on is the push-up. When I first started doing push-ups, I was like many other people and I kept my hands very wide and my movement was very shallow. And when you think about how you use that movement in real life, that's not the most functional movement or range of motion possible to help you in other circumstances. For example, someone once asked me, if someone was running towards me and I wanted to try to stop them, where would you have your hands? And would you have them way out here and push them away like that? And I said, no, of course, you would want to try to put your hands close by, and the most power you would get is kind of pushing them here or being, straight out from your chest. So when it comes to push-ups, that's the form that I like to teach, or the technique that I like to use, just to be able to have that full range of motion and that mobility in the shoulders and build up that strength in the chest. So what I'm going to go through is just some ways not to do it and some ways on how to do it. So again, when I first started, my arms were way up to the sides and I kept my form pretty shallow, or my movement very shallow. So I was pretty much here. For me, I don't consider that necessarily a full push-up. What I'd like to see is your hands closer to where your shoulders are, maybe just outside of them, and your elbows more from maybe 45 degrees from your body, and then, or pinched into your body, your elbows pinched to your body. That's where I prefer to see. I know that is a very hard movement, and like I said, this doesn't just happen overnight. This will take many days, many hours of practice to get to the full range of motion, but this is what full range of motion looks like. So your hands are just outside of your shoulders. I'm going to clench my butt cheeks when I'm in this plank position so that when I go down, my chest and my hips hit the ground at the same time. So I'm here, I go down, and then I push up. Down, push up, clenching my butt and pinching my sides with my elbows the entire time. Now, if that's hard for you, or you're just not there yet, that's okay. We're gonna work on putting your knees down and being able to do the same range of motion. So when I teach people to use their knees, I try to get them to cross their legs just so you don't worm yourself up or use your toes in any way. So cross your legs, and then when you go down, it's the same idea. You really want to extend those hips down so when you go down, you can hit your chest and your hips at the same time, pushing back up, versus you don't want to close those hips and be here, because then again, you're limiting that range of motion here. So again, open those hips up, and then your chest and your hips go down, same time, and up. If that is still challenging to you, that is okay. We have a couple more variations. You can go to a wall. Here I'm going to use the rack just to kind of show you. But if you're on a wall and you're standing more parallel to that wall, it's going to be a little easier for you to get that full range of motion in. And as you find that becoming easier, you can then become more perpendicular to the ground and use a barbell on a rack or a bench or anything that's going to be kind of stable. And when you use the barbell on the rack, make sure that you know this is free moving, so you want to either strap these down or just be very aware that you don't want this falling off. But the better you get at that wall push-up, the more perpendicular you become by lowering the bar on the rack and going down, so it looks something like this. Just like that. If you have any questions beyond what I've addressed here, please comment below, or go to my website, worthwildlifestyle.com, and you can see what the blog talks about. We talk about many movement corrections, other tips and tricks in these movements, and you can answer or ask any of your questions there. Hope to see you around. Thanks.